Hello everyone, welcome to my new series on Kerbal Space Program. In this series I'll be doing tutorials on career mode and basically how to get the best science, most science out of your crafts and all this, and also some docking maneuvers later on and all this. But sit back, relax, enjoy the show, and I hope you learned something from this because KSP can be quite a hard game, especially for beginners. Here we go. Space Center, you know this, you must know this. Easiest thing, but anyway, VAB. See, in career mode, you don't start with all the parts, you have to unlock them, so we get the command pod. And what else? We don't have decouplers, so we get a fuel tank. You can just get the science needed to unlock the first tier of parts without doing anything, because when your craft survives you get, okay, I have asteroids, you have 5 science for the first craft that survives a flight. Parachute on there, propulsion, that motor, there, that'll do. Save it, launch, oh, I forgot to stage it. Make sure you stage your rockets because otherwise it just goes wrong. Just have a bit of water. And then, yeah, so I've staged my rocket. I've got the engine will start first, and then when I press space again, the parachute will open. I've got no decouplers, but usually there'd be a decoupler there, which goes off before the parachute, so that the capsule is separated from the rocket, and it's just the capsule that lands. So anyway, turn your SAS on, throttle about 2/3, and away you go. Press space, and the engine starts. Okay, it's laggy. Look. As you see now in the 0.23.5 update, they added the flag on the spaceship as well, on the capsules, and on certain utility parts. I think there's one on the hitchhiker storage container as well. But anyway, when you get to near about 8,000 to 10,000 meters, maybe a bit higher, depending on the orbit you want, tip over to the right, so press D, tip to the right, until you get to about here on the nav ball. This is 45 degrees. And continue burning. This won't get us into orbit, but it will be suborbital, because there's not enough fuel. There's not enough delta V to get us into orbit. But we can go as high as we can. And there we go, the fuel has run out. So we can have a look at our orbit. We will get into orbit. Kerbin's atmosphere goes out to about 70,000 meters, and our apoapse, which is the highest point in our orbit, which will be 75,000. So now we can time warp. Don't time warp with big ships though, because it can go wrong. The physics doesn't really like it. So when you get into orbit, what you want to do is you want to right click and click crew report, and it'll tell you all the different, it'll tell you the signs you get, and we can't transmit it because we've got no antennas. So we've got that one. If we do crew report, yeah, and then we keep the data and it stores it in there, so as long as the capsule gets back safely you should be fine. And then you do an EVA, and do an EVA report, and then you keep that, and then you can store it. I'm not sure, you can't get another one, I don't think. We do that, and then that. Oh yeah. And then, so as you see, we're going down now because we got past our apparatus, so our altitude will start to decrease and we'll land in the ocean. So if we throttle back and then warp, you can only physics warp in atmosphere. You can't proper time warp because I don't know I don't know the science and maths behind the game, but because you've got all the air modelling, like aerodynamic modelling in the atmosphere, and obviously there isn't any of that in space, so you don't have to worry about the warp disturbing it. So then if we usually you point retrograde like this, the ship will automatically do it because of the drag. And keep going down, keep going down. Eventually you lose the re-entry effects, gets you Mach effect. That means you're under 10,000 meters, and you can deploy the parachute. And if it deploys 500 meters above where the level of the sea or land, like so above ground level. So when this gets to 500 meters, because we're above water, that's like 0 altitude. But don't warp past that because your parachute can break, and then you've just lost all your signs and everything. And then it deploys at 500, and then just float down, and that's your first flight. And also don't warp when you're landing because you can break yourself. There you go. Sorted. All landed there, and then you click recover vessel at the top middle of the screen. And there you go, it tells you the science and the experiments that you recovered. So you got 5 signs from the crew report, 8 from the EVA report, and 8 from the recovery. So then you click done, and you can go into the research and development facility, and then you unlock these tiers. It's like it's a research tree, and then you can see the available parts that you will unlock here. So we've got 21, we've got 16 now, so we can't afford that. It's 18, that's 20, and this is 15, so we can afford this one. But you have to decide whether you want to get more science and go for the bigger rockets and go for more expensive tiers, pardon me, or whether because this tier is a good one to unlock because it means that you can do more science. Because then you get these, you start to get probe parts and SAS and all sorts of things, and more science and batteries and stuff, so that you got more electric charge. Because transmitting data and experiments costs electric charge, and obviously, like in a ship with no batteries, there's not much electric charge. But I'll just quickly demonstrate. Oh, you can put these on it as well. I forgot to add these. Put 2 on the side. And these are other experiments, and you can examine them, and it'll tell you what they're doing, and then you can store that. Or if you have an antenna like this, you can transmit it back. But that costs electric charge, and it depends on the size of the data as well. So see if it doesn't tell us on here, but when you do the experiment it tells you the size of the data, so that you can decide whether you've got enough electric charge or not to, you know, send it home. So if we make a better ship now, we upgrade. So we get a smaller engine in here to achieve orbit. Get some bigger. I forgot the decoupler. The decoupler in there. That's important. And then get these, and then this. Then we get 2 boosters as well. Now these, I don't know whether to do this actually because we've not got radial decouplers, so these will stay on until this stage is burnt out, and then we decouple it. But because of the empty weight, it will be lugging around. I don't know if it will make a difference. You know what? Let's not. We'll just add an extra one of these. No, we won't actually. This will be fun. Unless we. Yeah, we'll do that. Put them on there. And then we stage it, so yeah, we've got them in the right place, and that will decouple. It shows us in here, it highlights it. Hover over that, that will decouple, then this will start, and then when we come back out of orbit, we want to decouple the capsule, and then the parachute, deploy the parachute, so that and you can change the settings as well, so you can change the altitude it deploys at, the minimum pressure to semi-deploy, I think. And then you can change the amount of fuel and the thrust limiter in your engines and stuff. And it's pretty groovy. So if we start, there we go, and then we SAS again. There we go, but we're going a bit too fast. So if we throttle back. See, these two SRBs are actually taking us up far up, like they're taking us up on the road. We don't even need this engine. If I cut the throttle, we're still travelling, we're still gaining speed. But these are going to run out, as you see, so we need to keep this engine going. But then see, we can't get rid of these, and now the speed's dropping because we're trying to lug around the 70 weight, and plus we were probably going at like loads above terminal velocity. I love that sun effect. Beautiful. And then, oh, I've missed that. So if we now tip over our ship. It's 45 degrees. I'm hoping this will get us into orbit. I haven't tested it or anything. And then you can do goo reports while you're in the atmosphere, and it tells you there that it says 7 science recovery, and if you transmit you get less science. I think you can, yeah, there it tells you the data size, but I don't know why you get less for transmitting. I don't know, they changed the way it works. But this probably will get us into orbit if we, yeah, we're at 50 kilometers after access. So if we tip over a bit more now, because we want to lengthen our orbit out and get as much out of these fuel tanks. We're in the last fuel tank now. So if we tip over, try and extend our orbit. See, so it goes further around the planet. And this runs out about now. Okay, now. And then we decouple. And then go for a bit longer, get away from that, and then go into the map. This is where it gets cool. Go into the map, focus on curbing because it's easier to set the thing. Click as close to your apoapsis as possible, and then go top down, and then pull this one. It means prograde, so it's going to tell you to burn forward in the direction of your travel, so that eventually your speed will increase so much that you get into orbit. And then you see the apoapsis swung around because now we've extended that further out than this bit here. So that'll be 125 and that'll be 113. And then, so we want this, if we're circularizing, we want it about there. So that's 113, 113. See, that's perfect. Well, nearly about 500 meters off. But and then there's this little blue icon on the nav ball now. So if we point at this, then we can I suppose we can test to see how long, because it says estimated burn there, and it's going to take us 42 seconds. So we want to start the burn when the one at the bottom says 21 seconds, so it's halfway, and so then it gets to 0 when we're halfway through the burn, so it's done as evenly as, and I've just missed it. So it's done as evenly as possible. Just physical walk through this. Because ship's not very big, we can afford to physics walk. And then try and get as accurate as possible. Doesn't really matter if you're a few off. The camera changes when you get into an actual orbit as well, so it doesn't really, you don't really have to. And then you click that to get rid of the movement. There's a little tick by there, and then you're in orbit. Get to sit back, relax, observe your mystery goo. So you get 10 signs for that, so that's a bit more. So hopefully we're going to get 20 signs from these alone. Yeah, we will. 20 signs, then you can do a crew report, and because we've already been in space and have recovered it, you get no signs for that because we already know what it is. So what we'll do is when we get back into the atmosphere, we'll do another crew report, and we'll do an EVA report in the upper atmosphere that's quite tricky. So if we don't really want to come down into dark, because it means you don't see much. So if we time warp around the planet, and this game is really cool. Like, just while we're time warping, see the new update, you get asteroids, so they come and you can scan them. You can view them in the tracking station. There's loads of planets. There's a few. Pardon me. And then, yeah, you got this one. That's a gas giant. But I'll go through all of those at a later date because we need to. And Kerbin has 2 moons as well. It's got Minmus and the moon. This one looks more like our moon, like you can see it here. And then Minmus is a bit stranger. It's very small. It's a lot smaller than the moon. See, it's barely bigger than that dot. And if we zoom in, we can't zoom in further than that and still see it. So if we just try and get that as unround as possible. Yeah, so you zoom in straight through it because it's so small. And then we're going to come down over land, but it doesn't really matter because you don't take much damage from landing on land in this game, thankfully. In real life, of course, you wouldn't land on land, you aim for the sea. Because then... we're going to land in the desert. Because then you get... just a couple of captures, because you land in the sea because it's more cushion for your landing. And then we'll just go back down. Then we get into the atmosphere, it goes to 1 time warp, so you know you're in the atmosphere. Then we can do a crew report from the atmosphere, and you get 3.5. And I also have the like, community science thing. So it says these, usually there's about 3 or 4 that it can do, but this adds hundreds more, so it's better. And then, fabulous, yeah. So if we just turn off SAS so that the ship automatically points retrograde where the heat shield is. This is a heat shield on the bottom. Built in, that's why it's curved around. And stop that. And then you get re-entry effect at about 30,000 meters. Don't worry about these, there's no re-entry heat yet, so you can't actually blow anything up or destroy anything through re-entry. It looks so cool. Like these effects are added in 0.19, I think. And they're amazing. They're amazing. So then we get down below 10,000 meters. We're going to get Mach effects. Note we've slowed down enough. So then we do the parachute. And because we're above land, it's higher than the sea. So if I'll demonstrate. Our parachute will deploy. Look at the altimeter. and the parachute deploys above 500 meters apparently, but it deploys 500 meters above the ground. Yeah, see, 750. So that's 250 meters above sea level. The ground level is here. Inland. Should be careful not to damage these on landing because they're quite fragile. And then we can do this as well. EVA report. And it thinks you're flying because you're on the ladder, you're not actually on the ground. And then if you land on the ground, you can take a surface sample. You get 9 signs for that. You can plant a flag if you want. Usually I don't bother, but I'll just do it to show you. There's the NASA flag that we chose. You can read the flag, all this stuff, there you go. You grab board, and then you can recover your vessel, and we'll have lots more signs because we've done a lot more things. Yeah, see, we get 3.5, 5.6, 9, all this, 10 for that, 10 for that one. And then we go in here, we've got 47 now. So we can buy bigger rocket stuff, we've got better engine there, that's got thrust vectoring. You can do this, got more experiments, all this. I might get that one actually, so that I can just, because I can already get into orbit, but this will give me enough signs to unlock all the new rockets and things. So I'll get that one. And then, well, that does it for this first video on KSP. If you enjoyed it, like and subscribe. Hope you learned something from this video, and see you next time.